Welcome back to ESL One from Katowice 2018, and look at the time. We have had two stonking three-game series, which means what this is value for money, because we still have one more possible stonking three-game series to go, because we've had a quarter, we've had one of our semis, and we're just coming on to our second semi-final. Remember, one of these teams will go through to play tomorrow against Vici Gaming for that trophy down there, the ESL One trophy. And it's also worth pointing out, this is the first major ever to happen for Dota 2 in Poland. So it's a real moment, which brings us to our second semi-final today. Let's get it on. The first team to come out, they have looked good. They've had a roster change, then another roster change, playing well above what people expected. So let's see what they can do now in the semi. Please welcome to the stage here in the Spodek, that is Fnatic. So they need to take on a team, and this being Dota, this is not just a test of mind, not just a test of talent, but a test of stamina as well, because this will be the second time they have played today. They won through the quarterfinals to get this spot in the semis. They have got an eye on the finals as well. So please welcome your second team, and that is Virtus.pro. All right then, our two teams are on the stage, which means it's time to get this second semi-final underway. It's going to be great. Fnatic taking on Virtus.pro. Virtus.pro looking like they are back to the team we know they can be. So let's get this second semi-final on, and to that, we hand over to Paul, Red-Eye Challenger. All yours, buddy.
Thank you very much, OJ. Yes, we are back here once more at the panel with a slight change at the panel. We welcome back Nahaz to join us for this second semi-final. It's going to be a terrific battle between two teams who have arrived at this semi-final and have very different routes. And I guess, Alan, we'll start with you. You have to start with Fnatic. There's no one else to talk about in this second semi-final because of their extraordinary victory over Secret in the group stages.
Yeah, arguably the biggest surprise of the tournament. I think a lot of us had looked at Fnatic as a team that was maybe knocking on the door, but didn't expect them to kick it down. And they've done that in this tournament. Came through the group stage looking very good. They dropped a game early, but then that dramatic 2-1 game over Secret. And I think it's helped Fnatic. They do have a little bit of an unusual hero pool. They can play a number of styles. They're a difficult team to prepare for.
Yeah, they absolutely are. Kevin, how have you been impressed by Fnatic? Hard not to be, I know, because they've made their way through. But have they had all the qualities that you'd expect of a team to come this far?
Yeah, I think so for sure. I think they were, other than EG, they were maybe one of the other teams that really did super aggressive dual off lanes. Their early mid game pressure was really impressive. Games 1 and 3 against Secret. I just think they need to hit consistency at a huge level because EG was doing that and VP beat them, and now they've got to take out VP as well. That's gonna be tough.
They have. And Cap, when you look back through the DPC, they've had 7 games against Virtus.pro. They've only won 2 of those 7. Not a great record against this team, albeit slightly different lineups now. Of course, they've both had a change since the new year. They come into this game, do they care about records? Do they care about what they did last time against this team? Do they just not focus on what they've been doing really well in this tournament?
I don't think so, but that being said, I was sitting down and really thinking about what it is that makes Fnatic Fnatic and how it's going to match up against Virtus.pro. And I do think Fnatic are inherently a little bit of a greedy team with the combination of DJ, Universe, as well as Abed. I think you have two cores and one support who like to be able to play a little bit greedier. They're able to do otherwise. Like Abed can definitely play a more aggressive style. We saw him play a Dragon Knight to Eternal Envy's Terrorblade, for example. But I feel like naturally that's where those players want to be. And so it's really up to Eternal Envy and Pylai Dai, that duo, to be able to create all the space. Virtus.pro run a fast game. And I am a bit concerned about whether or not Fnatic's going to be able to still keep that pace, especially with the way that Virtus.pro looked in both Game 1 and Game 3 against that evil genius.
This must be the first time ever anyone said, can an SEA team keep up?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why you've got an NA player in your off lane, you've got an NA player in your safe lane. It's a little different.
It is a little different.
I love that point, though, that you made, Cap, because I think that's really important. I had the same concern. I was actually looking at some numbers between the series. Since Universe joined, Fnatic is actually 15-5 in games that end before 35 minutes. They're only 18-15 afterwards. You're right. They do tend to pick these greedy lineups, but because you never quite know who the farm's going to go on, if it's a Terrorblade pick, it's going to be Envy, right? If otherwise, it's probably going to be Abed. They're able to spread that farm pretty well, and when they get that advantage, they are able to end the game.
I feel like their pick diversity is really what helps them out quite a bit to be able to secure these strategies a bit more. I remember watching some of the Dream League games. I thought their draft was pretty interesting. My favorite draft so far of this whole entire tournament was their Invoker Beastmaster that they ran. I thought that was such a cool way to be able to match up against a Tinker.
The multi-Shadow Blades was awesome.
Yeah, it was fantastic to watch. Let's turn our attention to Virtus.pro, Kevin. I guess the first question is they've had to play two matches in the same day. Some teams prefer that. I think if you'd given EG the opportunity to play again the other day, they'd probably have taken it, wouldn't they, on the back of the 2 games they played? So how do you think it affects Virtus.pro?
Well, they had a very long break, basically. There was a really long series, where it's now past 8:30 p.m. right now, so they've had tons of time to review replays. They've had tons of time to relax, maybe sit back. I feel like they had so much time that this is just going to be another game for them.
Right. You don't think the fatigue will set in at all?
I don't think so. I mean, it's been like 4 hours.
Yeah.
It should be fine.
I know it's...
Right?
Well, you think so, but it affects people differently, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We've seen some teams play a game in the morning, come back in the afternoon, and not look the same, not look sharp.
I would say the only thing that I'm maybe worried about is that it's later in the day, and that first series was so long ago that perhaps in some way that affects some of them. Or maybe they made bad food decisions and they ate a lot of candy in the last couple hours.
Maybe.
I don't know. Something like that.
Maybe.
I don't know how you guys feel about it. You know, if Lil's listening, maybe he just, puts his fingers in his ears. But I actually think Roger's been the MVP of Virtus.pro at this tournament. I think he's having fantastic performance. There was a hiccup in game number 2 where he used a Song of Siren and they didn't get anything out of it. As a result, they gave up Roche. Really bad fight ensues. But that's, I feel like, the only mistake that I've seen Roger. Otherwise, it's just all big plays.
Yeah, and the reason it stood out is because we haven't seen any others.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, interesting. Alan, the way that Virtus.pro play, you've all mentioned it already, kind of plays nicely for them in this particular game, especially against a team like Fnatic. They'll want them to run at them, won't they?
Absolutely. That's what I like about this matchup in general. I think it's going to be strength versus strength, right? When you look at, we mentioned the variety for Fnatic. They picked 14 different heroes in 3 games against Secret. VP has actually picked 35 different heroes in the tournament. That's the most of any team in 10 games. I think both of these teams are not afraid to mix it up in the draft. Fnatic aren't afraid to do things like pick Axe into Terrorblade, like make Ember Spirit a hero, which pretty much no other team does. VP are not afraid. They will mix it up in the draft with anybody.
Hey, Paul, they also picked Bristleback a while back.
Yeah.
So,
oh, God.
I did call it the other day as well. We were looking through the unpicked heroes and we were kind of like,
they lost that game.
I know, it doesn't matter though. The fact is they played it. They do play it.
When I gave up on Bristleback was when I saw it a couple weeks ago. I saw a Bristleback run against a Brood, which is supposed to be like a Brood counter, and it looked awful.
It did, yeah. I think we may have watched the same game. Yeah, just while we're on the subject of that, I'm waiting for the draft. Currently, we're looking at 21 different heroes that haven't been picked or banned.
You want to give us the ones that you think are
interesting? We kind of went through them a little bit. There's a Bloodseeker in there, there's a Bristle, there's a Clinks. Dark Willow's never getting picked. Dazzle, maybe. Huskar, that could be a potential one. Magnus, Necro,
I still
Ogre.
think the Shadow Demon
is
the most likely.
The Shadow Demon is still in here, and that's probably a good bet. Ogre, Pangolier,
Ogre, solo Ogre, man.
Okay, I know I said that to him, he laughed at me. PA,
what?
Phoenix.
No, what? Yeah, you're just creating things on the spot now, Paul. Come on.
Pudge, Ricky, SD, Silencer, Slardar, which has a lot of opportunity. There are a few Slardar players left in the tournament. Techies, obviously not. Treant, Venom, and Wind Ranger, which obviously someone's going to pick as a 5 in this game.
I think Phoenix is an okay hero right now.
Just to tilt out
and real quick side note, I see a lot of Treant Protectors being run in NA right now. There's some experimenting with that. I have no idea if the hero is actually good or not, but it's
trouble is
really annoying.
I don't know if you've noticed, but there's no NA teams left.
Yeah, I know. Classic NA.
First the Windrunner, then that.
I've got to give it to you boys. I've been far too easy on an all NA panel this weekend. Anyway, we're going to get into the draft. First couple of bans. No real surprises. None.
I think the Enchantress ban in the first set is a little interesting. I do feel like VP is going to be able to, on average, outlane most other teams. I think EGU is extremely skilled, and they still outplayed them a few times pretty consistently, I feel. So I think Fnatic's got to be really careful about these aggro duel lanes.
Yeah, really agree with all the bans so far, especially the gyro. Again, when you're Fnatic going and watching these replays, which you've now had time to do, and you're seeing how VP, they ended up losing the game, but how well their gyrocopter was looking in the series that was off stream, as well as the Razor and the Naga. VP are pretty much, they have first pick Naga in 4 out of their 10 drafts here, and when they're second pick, they almost always ban it.
Tiny and Cuddle bans, so first pick goes to Fnatic. Elder Titan, maybe. It's kind of a iffy opener. But there is still TB in the pool, so.
They will open the Clock, Sand King, sometimes even the Chen.
I don't know what that Sand King was. I remember seeing that. I was like, or excuse me, Clockwork. I like Beastmaster a lot more. That is a good opening for me because I feel like it can match up against the Terrorblade, which is still on the pool. I think that's one of the problematic heroes right now.
It was their hero of the previous sets as well. Like, Universe goes off lane, he does things similar to Smail, does a really good job, and then he gets a Shadow Blade and tries to set tempo.
So the big reason I mentioned the Chen is because Chen is likely going to be taken by VP if you leave it in the pool. Universe, there you go, nice call, Cap. Universe now has 5 of the 7 fastest times on Shadow Blade on a professional Beastmaster on record. We saw that game the other night, of course, where they ran the dual Shadow Blade, Beastmaster Venge to set up the stun strikes for Invoker. Not going to complain if we see that again. But again, you remember also in the VP EG series, the key to all 3 games was really which team was able to pressure the enemy safe lane. And I think that the Beastmaster, both teams really set up very well to be able to do that as the draft goes on.
Especially with a Bane pick.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's not just the pressure, but which team then was able to sustain the pressure. And that was really the key for VP in game 1 against EG. They had this Bane down there. EG were unwilling to bring the Rubik from the top lane. Bane is going to crush a dual lane.
So wait, you think, in this setup here, you think the Bane's going to match? He's going to have his core in the safe lane, and they're going to go against the Sand King Chen?
I think so. I think it leaves you open because I think what you do as the draft goes on is you say, okay, if I have an opportunity, I pick a really strong aggro dual lane partner for the Beastmaster. If I have the opportunity and I know I can bring that pressure, I can pick the Terrorblade third and pair that with the Bane in the safe lane. That combination looks so good this morning for VP, and even in the ideal case, you get to do both.
Okay. I was thinking maybe they're going to utilize this Bane. Like maybe they're just gonna get a really self-sufficient hero like Lone Druid, Lifestealer, like Juggernaut or something like that to deal with that aggro, and then maybe the Bane feels a little bit more comfortable harassing mid to start off the laning phase or something. Because for me, I felt like Witch Doctor, maybe not in the laning phase sense, but even Rubik is decent matchup against these two. For me, Bane doesn't stand out specifically against Chen's aggression, besides just being a lane dominator outside of the Chen creeps. So.
Your point is well taken. I think that Bane is not nearly as well suited to counter the Chen Sand King combination as it is X-Wisp, as we saw this morning, for example. But I still think it gives you just that stability. And I'm leaning toward now that Fnatic show the Terrorblade ban themselves fourth, I'm leaning toward this mode where we end up with Envy on a more tempo-oriented carry, and it's Abed on the farm-intensive hero.
I found those bans from VP very interesting. Tinker and Weaver.
So that Weaver is actually, it's weird. Weaver is actually another of those heroes like the Axe that's a pick for Fnatic and basically nobody else. They run it on Envy, and what I really like about their Weaver is that it can run at very different speeds. They played it in very fast games, they played it in more farming games.
And that's a hero that, when pressured by a Sand King who's shoving down your lane and goes for a tower dive and Chen's wrapping around behind, like, Weaver's good.
Yeah.
He goes invis, max movement speed.
It's a really good point.
I feel like that is going to be a hero that is better adept at being able to deal with that, because I still think they're going to go for a 4 position that goes with the Beastmaster, and they're going to try and match. You know, like, hey, you're going to aggro dual lane into us, we're going to do the same.
And so I just love both of the teams covering the bases here, right? Because this now reveals that this is going to be a core Sand King, more than likely. And Witch Doctor sort of also functions as that lane stabilizer, as we were talking about with the Bane.
I wouldn't even say it's a lane stabilizer. That's a lane winner right there.
Okay, fair
Witch
enough.
Doctor's been really effective against aggro dual lanes. It's like one of the few heroes that can actually threaten Beastmaster easily. You know, the tanky heroes.
Yeah. Oh, no, and as we've been talking about, like, that's been the model of this tournament, that you pick like a DK here, and he can go mid, okay, Earthshaker's fine. That's going to be your second support in the situation. But you pick like a very tanky core for Envy, and all of a sudden he gets Maledict thrown on him, and he feels like he can actually die.
Earthshaker's kind of interesting. Kind of okay at slowing down pushes. Can definitely offset some lane pressure, interrupt some death wards, things like that. Transitions to a really good late game hero. Chain stunning, initiating team fights, making the late game easy, basically. So they'll definitely have that against a Chen. And Witch Doctor also falls off too if you don't have a nice Alchemist to give you free ags.
I think the Death Prophet is pretty decent for VP here.
I was thinking about Death Prophet and Viper.
Yeah, Viper's another good one.
I'd be a little bit concerned about Death Prophet, though. I feel like the burst damage is definitely there from the first 3 picks from Fnatic, with the Earthshaker being a threat, and then the single target focus of Beastmaster is quite strong as well. And you'd also be dealing with split push. But that's the thing is that I really like about the Chen Sand King, is that it deals with split push from Beastmaster really well.
And they will go ahead and take the DP. And now Fnatic.
There's not too many heroes that will beat out the Beastmaster, but I believe one of them does okay is Lifestealer. Another one that actually beats it is Ursa.
What about just DK, just because he's super tanky against the physical damage? He can stand an extra.
Yeah, DK just survives to it. Yeah.
It's not good against Spirit Siphon though. Like as a whole, I don't think he matches up great.
Okay. The Venge. All right, so this is their other side. This is, and again, oh God, is this a?
That's a
I don't even want to say it. I don't want to jinx it. But this is the same, basically the same set that they ran the other night.
It's a great hero against DP. I was thinking something physical damage with minus armor because of the Beastmaster thing, and Venge works perfect for that. Physical damage, she can swap DP out of position and very likely burst her down rapidly.
Please don't ban it. Please don't ban it.
And we can actually get stuff done in the meantime. By the time he gets a couple levels. It's definitely a little bit more active, not as good late game as something like a Juggernaut, but definitely can get a lot done. What do you worry about the ban?
Oh, I just don't want them to ban us. Oh, damn it!
Yeah. I was feeling you, Paul. Hey, Paul was feeling you as well, actually.
Oh, I'm so devastated.
Shout out.
I so wanted to see that Tricore again. That was just so exciting to watch the other night.
This other one, though? This other one, Paul? Not so much that other one.
No? Okay, okay.
He was pointing out the Broodmother, but there's an Earthshaker and a Beastmaster.
Yeah, that's super risky.
Yeah.
Although it's funny, like Ramsey's, he's so aggressive in lane with that hero that he can get away with a lot of that stuff. But yeah, it's a really bad matchup here.
And do you know the other thing is, of the 4 matches that they played against Fnatic, their last 4, 2 of them have been won using the Brood.
Yeah. Oh God.
Wouldn't it doesn't be worse if they do it again here?
Oh yeah, that would. And there you go, Paul.
Yeah, just in case.
About it.
Just in case. Like, let's not do that again.
All right, so I want to see I want to see a vintage Abed hero. I'm not sure. SF's good. Physical burst is good with the TA, for example. Ember doesn't, I think, fit as well. Okay, interesting.
Yeah,
damage amplifiers.
That's another one that they've been doing as well.
Yeah.
There's my favorite kind of Medusa lineups when you have damage amplifiers. You've got both Vengeful Spirit and Beastmaster to bring your Dusa online a bit faster.
It's like way faster, plus Wave of Terror, and VP's damage right now is mostly AoE. I feel like Dusa will be able to stay alive fairly easily. Maledict doesn't work great against her because her HP doesn't draw fast enough. It was a really good pick here, and allows them to basically farm for the late game if their early roam stuff doesn't work out great.
Is that that's a PL ban
Yep.
on the side of Fnatic? Okay, so PL is out of the pool, so we have to think about it. I mean, Anti-Mage is not a hero, but
Definitely not against Beastmaster.
yeah.
It's not too fun.
All the like the heroes that would be able to do well against Beastmaster we were talking about earlier can't match up against the Dusa.
Exactly.
So this kills a lot.
Okay.
So they're gonna do the OD instead.
Yeah, that's a no-one OD.
And I think they do the safe lane Death Prophet against the
Yes.
Beastmaster. OD against the Dusa mid.
Boy. This is a really tough one because I like this Fnatic draft a lot, but the level of play that VP showed against EG this morning, I think, is the highest that we've seen in a tournament bar VG Gaming.
I want to see the draft again, but all I can think of right now is it's OD versus Dusa. So I know I'm just going to go for Virtus.pro here.
Okay. Kevin?
I think I'll pick Virtus.pro as well. I think they can stabilize the lanes. I'm a little worried for DP, but I think they can take the win.
OD's big time favorite in that matchup? OD's big time favorite?
I mean, it's just the fact that it's one of the better heroes at being able to bring down a Dusa. I
Considering
hear a
it's
Virtus.pro
Grainer mana.
chant starting up here.
All right. You know what? I hate to make it a panel curse, but I think I agree with you guys. Let's go. 3-0 VP.
All right, okay. We're going 3-0 Virtus.pro to go along with the crowd, which are already starting to chant here in the Spodek Arena. Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for your second semi-final, and let's find out who takes first blood between Fnatic and Virtus.pro.
It's a very good question. Of course, this crowd, they're no strangers to Virtus.pro playing on the main stage. Of course, this is a bit of a different one. This one's not a, well, it's not a Polish team, it's a Russian team. But still, the brand VP, nice and strong. How do you feel about their draft? Do you feel it's nice and strong as well, Blitz?
I did until they all called that it was Virtus.pro.
So you're not actually swayed by the fact, like, oh yeah, you know, it's the OD versus the Dusa, like that looks good for Virtus.pro. It's the fact that the three panelists actually said that that is victory.
Yeah. Plus, like when the chips are stacked against Envy, he levels up. He takes to another form.
Yeah, but that means he has to lose game one, right? You got to lose game one to then win game two.
Even the haters, like they'll propel him to the next level. It works on like multiple levels. Don't worry about it.
Like it's the secret juice of Envy when he drinks at night before he goes to bed. Before he starts the game. How do you actually find the rest of the draft? So if we actually ignore the OD and the Dusa, we just say there's gonna be a straight up matchup. Do you actually kind of like the way VP approached the draft, where we now see like this 3-position SK, the Chen, the Witch Doctor working together? Like, is this gonna give a lot of strength to the rotations in the lanes from Virtus.pro?
Yeah, I mean, I think SK Chen, just to quick summarize if the panel didn't already, it's that the SK will almost always shove in the wave, and it'll allow the Chen to just swarm you completely.
I love how we fake the horn at the start for VP versus Fnatic. Our full best-of-3 semi-final matchup. The winner will face up against the freshly positioned in Grand Final VG Gaming. The loser will play the third-place match tomorrow against Team Liquid. Both games should be absolutely amazing no matter which team wins or loses this series. So you should watch that Dota no matter what. So laning-wise, it looks like Eternal Envy is Mr. Vengeful Spirit with the Wraith Band to begin with. He'll be going towards the offlane, working with the Bane. Probably one of the best interfering heroes, support heroes so far to enable this dual lane meta we seem to be in. They'll be going up against a Witch Doctor as well as a Death Prophet. That leaves our mid lane with no one OD versus Arbed's Dusa. And then finally up on the top, it's going to be Roger's Chen working with Pasha's SK, at least at the beginning, against Universe's Beastmaster safe lane with DJ supporting in that ES role. And they're already looking to try and contest off that first rune. DJ does have the fissure. I don't know if he really wants to burn the mana for it, but when Pasha's able to get the double Burrow Strike and take the bounty rune, he'll give it a crack and walk away with it. Unless... Fissure block, Pasha, 1 second till Burrow Strike's off cooldown. He needs some time and he's got it. Up to the cliff, starts even his TP back to the tower. The Axis will cancel this out, but Pasha is back to relative safety at the tier 1.
Yeah, but this is not the position he wants to be in. I think he actually just goes back, and that's exactly what he's going to do. And
that can't be good though. You just burned your TP to get to the tier 1 tower.
Oh, absolutely not. that is a rough start indeed.
I suppose now it's going to be, what, the 3-position Chen? Milk Stream comes true.
For the time being, as...
Actually, they move some lanes.
Yeah.
So Ramses has come up to the top lane to work with Roger. And they're going to push SK down to the bot lane.
I think they realize that it's very unrealistic for this Sand King to do too much in this matchup. Like, he's just going to get harassed out pretty hard. As now DJ just trading hits with the Chen early on, who Roger already having the Blightstone. It's going to be hard for him to trade. He's looking for a creep right now. I'd really like for him to put the early pressure on this mid lane, though. I think that both superstars in their own right, and Abed is the man to slow down in this game.
Yeah, if they can keep that Deuce from getting big.
Oh, at bottom.
And keep the OD up. Yeah, bottom lane, Eternal Envy being initiated on again. Burrow Striker, Maledict. That should be enough to pop him as he's low. The stick charges. It won't be enough to survive. Solo spilling the first blood.
A lot of teams banned this 5-position Witch Doctor from VP. And you already start to see why. He's very aggressive on this hero. With that point up in Maledict, Envy already suffering, but like we talked about, not the real carry in this game.
Yeah, you never really know. That's what the panel was talking about before the draft even began. You just don't know where Fnatic is going to put the real farm, because they can always switch it up. It's very dynamic in the lanes. To go off something else you said, the fact they banned the Witch Doctor a lot. We had the Disruptor from Solo earlier today, and this is Virtus.pro, the team that will play every single hero in the book. Such a huge depth of pool they have available.
Right now, Roger just harassing up as...
Yeah, Spirit Siphon, Universe, no, can't reach him.
It's a good amount of harass though, and in this mid lane.
Envy's in trouble again on bottom. Heavy Malediction. Don't know if Pylite Eye can really help him here at all. In fact, he cannot. Enfeebled up Solar to try and remove that damage is the only ability the Pylite Eye has on this Bane so far.
Very decent early start right now for VP as they're already off to a 1k gold lead. And at bottom lane, Solo just continues to throw out the early point of Maledict that he has, opting to even grab the second level. Envy gonna TP down here.
They found Universe up on the top lane. The fissure blocked from DJ will stop the chase from going on. Roger is just all over him. Just Penitence hits him with the Hadouken Blast, and then if they can get the Spirit Siphon on, the only thing that will help him is DJ being there.
Yeah, but he doesn't really want to be in this position. I think in an ideal world, he's helping out Abed in this mid lane, as Envy normally sent to suffer a little bit. But Abed doing just fine by himself right now. No one does have a salve available, but he is completely out of mana.
Yeah, he's been burning a hell of a lot, but that's why he's gone 0-2-2. Just Astral Imprisonment, secure the CS for now. DJ again. Now he's the one that's actually under attack, while Envy on the bottom lane's under attack. Just multiple prongs. It's going to put our weary observer to the test.
Envy right now has to be more careful in this lane. They've represented time and time again that they can kill him with this combo. As Solo already up to level 4 on this 5-position Witch Doctor.
He wants to go again on Pylite Eye. No point committing the Paralyzing Cask when there's nothing to really bounce it out to. And no real support around either, so Pylite Eye, one more tick will hurt a little bit more, but Solo, man, they're just going at it. The gloves come off. Solo has very little damage, however. Like, he's hitting for 36 damage thanks to the Enfeeble. So he goes again for the Maledict, requiring some space to make this work.
Pi starting to drop a little bit low. He was trying to save that cask, but he's going to run into a DD rune right here in Solo. He's got to be careful about this.
Yeah, Solo won't force the issue any further than that. Still waiting to see Roger. Panel flagging him as one of the critical members, especially Cap highlighting just how fantastic he has now performed at this tournament.
I think this is a really good timing right now to go for the gank, but if you notice this ward that Fnatic have very smartly placed, very astute by them, as they know that the rotation isn't going to really go to this top lane, Toby. It's going to head towards mid as Solo. He's making the wraparound as well.
He's going to use the Centaur to tank up the creep, tank up the tower as they go in after Abed. Abed not really positioning himself perfectly to escape from this. Gets clamped. Centaur Stomp will connect. DJ Fissure needs to buy space with a double stun. Solo so low. Abed needs one more attack. The smoke! He was in range, so the smoke broke instantly. Solo won't survive. Pylite Eye is looking for more, but he won't get it. And then no one does take out Abed. That high level 3 points up in the Astral Imprisonment was enough damage to pop the Medusa.
I think that was meant to be a bait. They had full vision of at least a Chen coming in, but they didn't quite expect Solo to make that rotation down as they have no ward. And Fnatic, they've got to be a little bit more careful about this.
Envy's being attacked once more. Pasha, Burrow strike down on bottom lane. Maledict and the paralyzing cask won't bounce anywhere, but the damage Envy has taken once more is more than enough to tick him out. He's trying to get some kind of revenge onto Pasha, but one charges keep him alive, and they just leave Envy to dot.
Solo with the execute. Turns away, doesn't even have to look at his dirty deed as DJ.
Oh, that was so close to Pasha.
But does manage to get out, and so far they have done a very good job of locking down Envy. And it's just been Solo going everywhere. It felt like half a second ago he was mid, killing Abed, and then he makes the rotation down very fast as Envy goes down to that. Doesn't expect the speed of that. Doesn't even have boots right now. It's 6 minutes into the game. It's been quite the sacrificial core for his team so far, but it's not even like anybody's prospering on their side, as this Death Prophet is doing very well against Universe.
This is at least nice for DJ, or is it? Solar burns the shrine and forces DJ away.
And up top, Exorcism was committed. Ramsey's trying to make a move onto Universe as he is being chased by the creeps.
Yeah, they need to close the distance, however, that won't really happen. But Death Prophet can at least creep skip and then hit into the tower with the end of the Exorcism.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
This ES is just not really, like, you talk about no boots onto Eternal Envy. They might still be able to get this stun onto SK. He Burrow striked away. Pylai Die is right behind him, but Solo starts his rotation. Maledict is up, paralyzing cask. It would have been a half-decent time. Would have bounced off to the range creep and back down again. But doesn't happen. Now Ramsey's, they really want to go on top. Universe roars out, going on the Death Prophet, who's already been sent back home. Roger dies quickly. They're looking for the bonus damage, but they know it won't be coming. DJ holds his fissure.
Clean send back as in mid, Abed taking some damage, but no one is out of mana once again. Would probably like to shrine in this position. It's Roger. TP's in mid, gonna try to build up another set of creep armies. As in this bottom lane, it's been very good so far for VP, as now they're gonna smoke. Really like to see them make this rotation into mid. They know that Envy's been slowed down enough that they don't have to worry about him too much. And it's the true core right now.
Abed's walking into him. He's coming for the 8-minute rune.
Oh, it's gonna be top.
Yeah, it's top. He doesn't come all the way down. And Beastmaster is even coming down too, so if they want to fight, I suppose there's no raw. But there's 3 points in Maledict that Solo's just itching to cast on somebody.
And that's just the luck of the draw. They want no one right now to open up with the Astral. Where's
There
the
it
TPs
is.
right now from Fnatic?
Nothing's coming. Now VS is only just starting his TP. The shields will hold for a little bit. And Eternal Envy, level 6, just watches his teammate die. Nothing more he can do as the tower will get pressured.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Don't know if that was fully part of the plan or Fnatic just not reacting in time.
Yeah, Fnatic have very good vision of this game right now. You notice they've got this ward on this high ground at bottom, they've got one in mid, and so they should sense these kinds of rotations coming in, because surely they're not going to go for Universe in this sort of position. They really want Abed there, and Envy should have made the call. Nobody showed at bottom for quite some time. Abed has to be careful about that. It's a very strong kill combo from Virtus.pro with the Maledict.
This feels like a very different Fnatic to the Fnatic we were watching yesterday.
Yes, they are playing a lot slower, and Envy normally was being very proactive in their games, whereas against VP it feels as though they've sort of taken the back
Dire's
seat.
bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah. But where does that speed come from? Obviously, you're not going to get a lot of speed out of the Medusa, but everybody else, like the VS pickup does this. Beastmaster is the highest net worth on Fnatic, and he's going to go Shadowblade, so Universe is definitely wanting to get into there and fight, but it's VB who, once again, are the team that are smoking. They're the team who are hunting.
Yes, and
They'll
they're
take the
ones-
top tier 1 tower as well.
We haven't really felt DJ's presence, I think is the big thing. Right now he's focused a lot more on pulling and farming, and normally we see him get a lot more active on the map, at least try to create something for his team. Thus far, we haven't seen that, and
Radiant's bottom tower
they are
is
playing a
under
lot
attack.
slower as, once again, they want to set up for mid. No one should make this a little bit obvious. They should ping for this.
Abed reacted a lot sooner this time. Backed up towards the tower as quickly as he possibly could.
Is under attack.
But this bottom tower is still under siege.
Radiant structures
And it looks like Virtus.pro have no intention to defend it.
are scanning.
Chen's just taking over the dire jungle. Death Prophet does have Exorcism available.
Radiant's bottom
And the next
tower
wave coming
is
in
under
for them
attack.
is going to be a catapult wave. So they have enough momentum that potentially they could just keep pushing.
Right now, Fnatic, they've got to do something about this Death Prophet, who's been completely uncontested. When the Beastmaster makes his rotation, Ramses feels like he has a free lane, which is going to force Universe back up here. But Universe is the tempo creator on the side of Fnatic because Envy's been set so far behind that he can't really rotate like he normally does. And when Universe shows like this, it alerts Virtus.pro to the fact that they can be very greedy.
Yep. Surprisingly enough, actually, Universe's TPM was, he tried to remain hidden, but he did it right underneath the Radiant Creep Wave. Roar up on top, Death Prophet needs some more life. 14-1 charges will buy this time for Ramses, but DJ slams it down and says, nope, thank you. This Death Prophet must die, and Fnatic finally get themselves a kill, a much-needed kill.
Yeah, that's going to slow down the tempo of Virtus.pro a little bit. It's a big core kill that they managed to grab. They did have to commit both the Roar and the Echo Slam, but I think they needed to get something done on the map. It's that bottom lane, Pasha, going to start getting very aggressive on this tower, and Fnatic, I think this is a very good tower for them to defend.
Yep, Abed's coming in, the Mystic Snake's going to cause some problems, taking off a lot of mana as well as life. And that's enough for VP just to back off for the moment.
And in mid lane, Pylai going to deny that mid tower, well in range. I think that all these tier 1 towers, though, when you have a hero like Medusa or somebody that can just simply frontline, you need to defend them. Oftentimes you're going to give them up. The top safe lane tower is perfectly okay to give up, but the bottom one and the mid one is going to control so much of your map control. As at bottom, Roger.
Yeah, he's on the run. Picked up a Sata just to get in the back of Eternal Envy. Here's your Paralyzing Casket. Will not bounce back down again. And they cannot close the distance.
He really wanted the swap, but
it was on cooldown for the moment.
Yeah, the Ghost wanted the stun. Is Roger going to deny that bottom tower? And now Fnatic, they rotated 3 heroes down here. They're all going to show up in mid.
They're expecting something. Okay, there's a lot of pings coming out on top of Universe. Underneath that Radiant Observe Ward, Burrow Strike, and Exorcism from Ramses. They ensure this kill with Epicenter too. Meanwhile, Solo found Pylai die, hiding in the trees. The Fissure cancels at least the Death Ward, but 2 quick kills for Virtus.pro, and on the back of the Exorcism and the Creep Wave, damage to the tier 2 tower is incoming.
There's no way they expected that kind of rotation. With the tower denied, they thought that Fnatic, or that VP would make the rotation in the bottom or the top, and so they weren't ready for that connection quite yet. Because there's no objective for them to get after that. That was just purely going for kills.
A little bit of damage will help him. DJ trying to find that money. Starts his TP out. Where's the stuns? Nothing is in range. And Pasha, it's already too late. As into mid, they jump. Eternal Envy.
Another kill.
It doesn't matter what lane he goes into. It just seems to be a bad day for him. 0-4, half of the kills the VP have claimed.
Yeah, 0-4-0. I mean, Envy has been so pivotal for this Fnatic team in setting the pace. It feels like he rotates so early on into this game to create space for the rest of his team. But it just feels like they're a little bit out of sorts right now, Toby.
Yeah. As like normally there's a plan B. Like our bet is still the plan B, but you can't just win one of your lanes here. You're going to continue to be forced out. This is a Chen and a Death Prophet. It will keep forcing the issue, and the high ground defense won't be strong enough.
Yeah.
Like if Blink Dagger is arrives on DJ, then I think there's a little bit more confidence in the potential of Fnatic.
I think they're still perfectly fine because of how farmed DJ is. Like, he's barely behind Envy when it comes to the net worth chart. Very nearly completed the Blink Dagger. Now he's fully committed to the farm, which I think is the right idea. But at the same time, this is not the pace that they set when they played against Secret. And up at top, Solo, he's going to make the rotation again. This would be Envy's 5th death.
Oh, this is just almost cruel. TP support's coming in from the Bane. OD is also on the way in. It's almost like they're trying to they want Fnatic to chase him. But it will not happen. Everyone's just back to their farm game. Pasha's already picked up his Blink Dagger. So the SK range initiation is available. They could almost think about Roshan too. Medallion of Courage is on Chen. You got the army up. Don't know if you have enough damage unless you want to commit Exorcism.
Credit though to Fnatic supports. They've had very good wards this entire game.
Yep.
They spot most of these rotations coming in as VP. They're grouped up. I would imagine that they want to grab this tier 2 tower atop so that they can rotate straight into Roshan right after. But they're going to go for this mid one. DJ. Really close to his Blink Dagger. This would be a massive pickup.
Yeah, Ramsey gonna commit. Here comes your silence as well as Exorcism. Universe Roar to create space, but no one brings the rain. of the Sanity's Eclipse. That TP extra is going to be cancelled, but here comes Pasha. Epicenter Burrow Strike, just a straggler. Universe, he just picked up the Shadow Blade. He wanted to fight, but never found the opening. Already committed the Roar beforehand with 2 heroes down without buyback.
Are they
and
really going
Exorcism
high ground?
only through 3/4 of the duration. They're going to attack in. Fortification from Fnatic has to be burned here. And Medusa with the Mystic Snake, it will give VP pause for concern, and they will retreat.
15 minutes in, already pressuring that. As with the Glyph, they're not going to cop too much damage. They were just trying to use out the rest of the Exorcism duration. But still, a very fast pace being set right now.
This is coming again. The pace is going to increase. A Blink Dagger on the back of the Death Prophet. We already saw Ramses doing this earlier today, but you've got a Blink Dagger coming out for no one as well. Actually, I think he bought it and then he kind of sold it. Okay, now he's actually picking it up with an extra 1,000 gold.
I think he thought briefly about going for a BKB or even finishing the Hurricane Pike, but doesn't do so. And Envy leading his team into this Roche Pit. This is so common of...
Ping instantly. The second it started, they pinged out. I think the Wave of Terror gotten vision of something from the Radiant side. Either way, that ping came out from Solo. They know Sentry wards it down. Vision from DJ, keeping Solo at bay. There's the Hadouken through the pit. Roshan down to 3.2k life right now. Beastmaster having a hard time. He's underneath the Sentry ward. That's why they put it down. Pasha with a follow-up Burrow Strike and the Echo Slam. DJ trying to help out, but it took almost no effect at all. Eternal Envy will fall. Abed turns on the Stone Gaze and Death Prophet Fiend script up. They really committed for this, but it's worth it. Abed gets a double kill, both Ramses and Solo. Huge kills for them. The follow-up, Totem stunned by DJ, means that Fnatic are getting the upper hand. Maybe Pasha looks to turn it around, buy space for no one. The Fissure stun, well, it buys a little bit of time, but this is for Pile Die to come out the Abyss. They switch the Nightmare off. That's no one with 28 points of stolen intelligence. Smacking Fnatic with their own smarts.
Yeah, and they needed him a little bit sooner for that, but still... Not the worst fight in the world for Fnatic, but they don't grab the Roshan, which was the main objective, and they have studied Fnatic. They know that when they're pressed into a corner, Fnatic, they go for those dangerous Roshans that most teams don't expect them to, but VP were so fast on the uptick.
Yeah. That's the other good thing about Fnatic, right? Like when they're back to the corner, they don't wait to go for those desperate things. They don't think about it and then set up. Like that's just a straight smoke, run in, and we just play the card game.
Still, Abed did not die throughout that. Picked up a heavy amount of net worth. When you are behind like that, any kill does matter, and he did get a few of those.
He got Abed, he got Ramses as well as Solo, so it was worth quite a fair chunk of money.
This Roche, there's no creeps on the side of VP. It is kind of low.
And here comes the Centaur. And Fnatic, well, they're smoked up, they're coming over, but with Exorcism committed and Roshan already being low, Fnatic will not get there in time. All they can do is potentially pick off someone as they retreat back out to the lane.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure about this move because Envy can't TP, and he's not making his way over, so at best they get a 4-on-5 fight.
The Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yep. It does feel odd. There is no doubt about that. But Envy is focusing on his next item. He's just focusing on getting that BKB up and running.
Yeah, he just needs to fight right now. He understands the position that his team is in.
Radiant's middle tower.
They need to create some kind of space, but with this Aegis, it's going to dissuade them from going for the 5-man. So there's going to be some time period where VP are just going to get a lot of map control.
Well, VP are coming to establish more control. Solo and no one smoked up inside their base a long, long way away. They look for the kill. But they're ready to showcase a new item. The Hurricane Pike is there now with a Blink Dagger on OD. Very, very difficult. Can't disjoint those attacks. At least not with what they've got.
They know that Universe is there, but with no dust, Universe has that Shadow Blade that
He's gone up. Solo, they found him. Blink forward. Maledic's done. Whoa! Okay, no waiting at all, but he lives. No, he doesn't. Maledic got him.
So much for no dust.
They really don't hold back on their Sanity's Eclipse. It's like it's a 160-second cooldown, and no one's just so liberal with it.
I think getting the kill on the core, he's going to be pretty satisfied about that. As this mid wave, Envy, he's parked up here. Doesn't want to quite go for the ward deny yet. But
yeah, they have to. Observe ward's there. No one's back to the front lines. Blink and Hurricane Pike forward. Eternal Envy wants to fight him. There's the quick stun, but the orb attacks. Solo Gonna be there too, needs to hit that paralyzing cast just so no one can close the distance. He can blink in front of Eternal Envy. It's almost like watching Envy killing off everyone else back when he was playing the Clinks with the Blink Dagger. There's just nowhere to run to, nowhere to hide. And Envy's down once more. That's now his 6th death of the game. This is not a happy place for him or anyone for Fnatic. That OD is a beast.
They don't really have the tools to deal with this Aegis right now.
It's a 7-0-2 OD. It's the ultimate dream game for a momentum style hero like him.
Yeah, once he grabs the BKB, he's going to feel nigh unkillable in this game.
Yep. Medusa's actually looking for her own BKB. They're trying to get rid of the damage these orbs are dishing out to them.
Fort is committed, and with that, in VP, they have this Aegis for a little bit longer. They might think about going for the high ground. It is quite dangerous because of how Earthshaker plus Medusa works. They could always get caught trapped inside the base. It's not easy for them to make that rotation in.
So play it safe.
Indeed, although they might run into Roger here. His creeps first. And they've scanned him successfully.
Yeah, Beastmaster needs the Raw. They also need a follow-up. It's difficult to bring people in range. DJ's got the Blink Dagger, but they went the wrong direction. Chen Army goes into the lane to push it out, but Chen's already leaving.
Yeah, I wonder if he even brings back his creeps during this time as Universe. Gonna reveal himself now.
Man, I just love the balls from no one. Just aggressively blinking forward wherever he wants to go. Didn't even have vision up that hill when he blinked. He just did it. Whatever he finds, he'll take it. The Aegis Immortal still got a little bit more time left on it.
And look at DJ. Tucked into the corner. No one looked like he had some inkling that he is there. And now he's going to complete the TP.
Yep. This will allow VP to now take the tier 1 and tier 2 tower on bottom lane. Interestingly enough, Fnatic put down both the Observer and Sentry in that area, maybe considering the defense.
My favorite part so far about this game, Toby, is that VP is being very formulaic, but super safe overall. Like, no one understands, okay, just because we have Aegis doesn't mean that we have to force a high ground engagement at all. Very often teams take the approach that the first Aegis will mean map control, take down all the tier 2 towers. The second Aegis is going to be the one that you generally want to try to go high ground into. But Fnatic, they've got other ideas. They're smoked up, and Roger's nowhere to be found. They thought that Fnatic would not take this kind of fight.
I don't know how Fnatic actually take this fight when you... Like, yeah, you just lost your Observer Ward, but how do you jump in and actually get the kill? That's a Solar Crest, Yule Scepter, and a Blink Dagger and a Death Prophet. Anyone you go on, OD can just imprison. You never know exactly where Pasha is with his stun, or Witch Doctor with the paralyzing cask. It seems to be an impossible task to get a proper initiation off without full vision of VP.
The awkward thing about that was normally you'll have the Juica shove in that top lane if your team's going to go for a smoke like that and not engage, but they don't really get anything out of the map off of that. And that's typically what happens when the enemy team has Roshan. You take advantage of the fact that they're going to go for 5-mans or play very safe, and as a result, no one's really going to contest you on the map. But they don't opt to do that, and instead, they're just kind of huddled together even further.
So they just bunker down on that bottom lane, try and protect the Trinity camp. It's not going to work well for them, especially when they're farming underneath the range of an Observer Ward. So Pasha's in the neighborhood, ensuring no attack will be successful, or any kind of attack is already been flagged out.
The good news, though, is that they still have a Medusa, and in a game like this, she can always be successful. And so it's hard to completely count Fnatic out.
Yeah. But it's going to take one heavy lifting from Abed.
Yeah. They've got double BKB now, though. Envy's completed his. It is going to cost them their buyback, but it is a very necessary item in a game like this.
So much experience and money coming in for Abed. Good top lane. Trouble for Pylai. So no real way to survive this. Got a couple of one charges, but I think he understands he's dead and no one. Just for the easy slide in to kill secure. That's his now 8th kill of the game.
And look, Abed has climbed to the top of the net worth chart. This is still relatively doable for Fnatic. It's going to be tough, and it's going to require VP to get a little bit too aggressive.
This looks like a better push now for Abed. I don't know if he wants to shove it in one more. Just ask yourself, what would EE do? He would hide in the trees. Yeah,
it would seem.
He's making the correct play. He doesn't see enough people on the map right now. It's really worrisome for him. And VP are just waiting for the second Roshan. They're being very patient about this. This is the time period where Fnatic get a little bit more freedom on the map.
Well, they noticed Death Prophet jumped out, so Universe is coming in for a kill if possible. Underneath the Observer and Sentry Wood, you'll have to be careful. The Raw SK. Pylai was ready to go, but Universe needed to begin with the Raw, but Pasha too quick on the blink.
And now everyone down here, they're just protecting this camp. I think it's the right idea. There's not anything really for them to do aside from wait for the next Roshan. Pylai gonna just blink forward.
Wow, they just go after him. They're bringing in the extra creeps, and Pasha brings in the epicenter. Oh, Pylai not where he wanted to be. Eternal Envy might be in trouble as well. He's only got a BKB. His movement speed is pretty poor. So they'll make a break for the tree line. No one finds DJ in the trees while the Bio Strike controls up Eternal Envy. Medusa has joined this fight, but DJ just getting wrecked by no one. Support is there. They drop the hammer, and Universe getting burnt down. 3 heroes on the sideline for Fnatic. No buybacks for any of them. And you're 26 minutes in, Roshan has respawned, but Ramses with the X's him up. He wants to push high ground.
And that was very confusing from Fnatic. Highlight just walks up very confidently, runs into a bunch of heroes, and the rest of Fnatic aren't really prepared for that die with him, thinking that maybe there's a fight to be found, but VP are so strong at this point. That's an Acceptor on your Chen, your DP is very strong, you've got a BKB on your OD. That is not a winnable fight for you.
You just picked up a fresh BKB as well on the Death Prophet.
That they didn't even have to go into Roshan or anything like that. That was just a free set of racks. It's very rare in situations like this to just get that.
And now they can actually go for Roshan if they want to. If Fnatic want to try and contest it, they do have the abilities to do so. And knowing Fnatic's mindset, they will want to get down there as quick as possible.
Gold lead now 15K at 27 minutes. Lincoln's is going to be the next item of choice for the Sand King. And that is going to heavily counter a single target from Fnatic. Their main AoE, of course, being that Earthshaker Echo Slam, but hasn't really found the opportunities to use it quite yet. And with the multiple BKBs on the side of Virtus.pro, it's going to get even harder for him.
I love the VP scan. Like they scanned just that small little path from the dire side jungle down in towards Roshan, just to be certain. But oh, Fnatic, you thought you were safe. You just smoked underneath the Radiant Observer Ward, and VP are already mocking it in the quick chat wheel. So all they have to do is basically hold the high ground. This will be the ramp area just to the south of where VP are now, because he walks underneath the Sentry Ward. Universe is revealed. The Sentry actually working against Virtus.pro in a way.
Yeah, they wanted them to walk up that hill.
Yep. And now they won't. Fnatic try and push down the mid. Everyone here from VP has arrived. And they need their stun. The swap. Oh, no!
They need to get out full retreat mode.
Oh, run away, run away, run away. Mistakes were made. Pylai die. He's turning. He's going for the Fiend's Grip. Pasha is now freed. Albhead, I'm not quite certain if he's trying to farm Ancients or farm up heroes. For now, Eternal Envy, Maledict on him once more, and you've got Ramsey just jumping in with that fresh BKB of his, going to work with the ultimate. Pylai dies being brought down by 3 other heroes at the same time. The Stone Gaze is triggered, but the Hand of God repairs almost all of the damage. The epicenter is there. Pasha can't close the distance onto Eternal Envy, and he will go down to the Exorcism eventually. Yes, he will fall. It looks like Arbed will join him as well, and this has gone from bad to worse. Fnatic with 4 heroes down. If they buy back on the Deuce, you may as well say goodbye to your hard carry. They could not disengage from that debacle of an engagement.
Yeah, that was so awkward for them. As soon as they run into that illusion and roar it, they understand their mistake, but it feels too late to get out at that point. Not a whole lot that they could do in a game like this, as this will be the second lane of racks, almost guaranteed.
It could be 3 as well. And there's your jump in already. Blink Yule Scepter is allowing no one. He's got 60 stolen intelligence right now. They dust and kill the Beastmaster, and that is the game. Eternal Envy taps out with GG. 30 minutes is how long this game took. VP in control the entire way.
Yeah, there was very little slip-up point for them. And that was not the kind of game that we expected out of Fnatic.
It really was not. Their vision game was on point, but as you were mentioning in the early game, the reaction seemed a little bit odd.
Like, it was coming a little bit slow, the movement was coming out, that small gank on the Medusa at the very start, where was the TP support coming when the Observe Ward was scouting the rotation as well? Not sensing the third hero to arrive, yeah. Just seems like a bit of a rough road for Fnatic, but never count them out. You learn your lesson once, you learn your lesson all the time. Fnatic are never out of it. They're just making the storyline a little bit better by losing game 1. Game 2, we'll see if they can fight back and give us a full day of Dota with all 3 series.
Thank you very much, Toby. Yes, that's a positive way of looking at it, isn't it, really? Is, you know, they're making the story better for us. They're making it more interesting for the crowd. They're making it more interesting for their fans. They've got to come back from 1 down to make a grand final right now to stop VP going through to the grand final. Virtus.pro now just 1 game away from making sure that we get the first ever double winner of an ESL One, because Vici Gaming are already there. Gents, let's talk about game 1, Alan. That didn't go well for Fnatic. I think that might be the most understated thing I've said all day.
Yeah. I mean, in general, like the side lane meta at this tournament has kind of been like a theory crafter's dream, right? I mean, we're seeing a Death Prophet Shen dual lane. Okay, but it works, right? You get that Death Prophet Beastmaster matchup that you want, and that really keyed the entire game for VP. Also have to say, that is for no one. 38 kills and 2 deaths in 4 games. I think if this keeps going, we're going to have matching Mercedes on that VP squad.
That's what it felt like to me as well. No one played really well, but I thought the difference was just that the Fnatic lineup didn't do very much. Envy was in the off lane. A lot of the times he felt solo. When the camera would catch him, he would just kind of be killed by Maledict. Solo made amazing plays with the Witch Doctor, creating pressure. And what it made me look at was just the support duo, that they couldn't do that much. Bane is like a lane winner, and if the lanes aren't won in a convincing way, and he's not 6 yet, he doesn't do anything. And Earthshaker is similar. He's got a fissure, but if he doesn't have a Blink Dagger, he's also not going to be able to make huge plays happen. So it got to this mid game where the first like 5 minutes didn't go very well for Fnatic, and then it just was bad from there on out.
Cap, did it feel like they departed from the way they've played well in the other games? It didn't feel like the same team, did it?
No. I don't think that's it. I think Virtus.pro was just pretty well prepared. I think it's relatively simple in the fact that, first of all, they have the OD versus Duset matchup, and then they also have the Death Prophet versus Beastmaster. So what this does is the Death Prophet versus Beastmaster makes sure that your lanes don't go very well, because you've got this matchup, you're not able to push the aggression like you wanted to, and then on the other side, you've got Sand King Witch Doctor, which is going to do fine against the Vengeful Spirit Bane, and then the 1-on-1 matchup. So if the lanes don't go well, then you can't get this 4-man crew of Fnatic, which is what they wanted to run with this Dusa. They want to run a 4-man crew where a Vengeful Spirit core and a Beastmaster core run around and go kill things, but without a strong laning phase start, they're not going to be able to get that. And so they're just at the mercy of VP at that point in time. And even if VP slip up, they still have an OD. So at that point in time, they're not gonna be like, oh no, the Deuce is too big now. Like the OD still feels okay.
Yeah, and Virtus.pro, I mean, what can you say about the fact that they've played so well that game?
Yeah, they played really clean. I think that everyone on the side of Virtus.pro did pretty well. Ramsey's looking better and better on this side lane Death Prophet that they keep on doing. Pasha as the initiator, still on point. Yep. I got to give props to Pasha. I actually thought when he first joined Virtus.pro a while back, I thought he was the weak link on the squad, but he has consistently put in very strong performances.
Yeah, it has. Alan, statistically?
So yeah, statistically, you look at the numbers coming in. So OD did 16.7k hero damage in that match. That's twice any other hero on the map. But that's kind of what OD is supposed to do. The thing that I really love about No One as a player is he takes these meta heroes and he really puts his stamp on them, like he did with the Puck, like he did with the Viper, and now the OD, where he is playing up in your face. I think every banish that I saw, missed the first couple minutes of that game, every banish that I saw personally was offensive in that game. He's not using that as a save, he's using it to set up kills, and that feeds so well into what VP want to do as a team.
It was like his mousetrap, like, I'm going to deal with you in a second, first I'm going to kill your friend, and then I'm going to eat you. He played amazing, he really did.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I mean, Fnatic, look at that, what do they talk about now for game 2?
Well, I don't think you really want to go back on it, but I personally, looking back on the draft, I really wish that they had banned the OD and given out the Broodmother instead, because I think the OD matches up better against the Dusa. I think that naturally a Broodmother game would have taken over the early game, but you'll naturally survive, and eventually you will overcome that. I think an OD, it's not that clear matchup, and on top of that, the OD has a lot. We didn't really see it that game, but there was opportunity for like Bane Fiend's Grip, well, there's a save coming up from the OD. Beastmaster Roar, Vengeful Spirit, like all of this single target that Fnatic had, they had a saving mechanism from a core, and I think that is one of the most underrated things about OD in the game.
Yeah, and the other thing that I look at as we move toward game 2 is when you pick supports like an Earthshaker and a Bane that kind of do one thing, like the Earthshaker is there to be a Fisher to stop the Chen aggression, but if you misread the lanes even slightly when you do that, you subject yourself to getting really picked on. And as you saw, you know, the Earthshaker was there. He stopped the Chen aggression, but the DP still got the farm. They were still fine.
Okay. We're going to head to a break right now and let the players regroup, get themselves ready for game number 2. Will it be the last one today? We're going to find out very shortly.
And they need that stun. The swap. Oh, no.
They need to get out full retreat mode.
Oh, run away, run away, run away. Mistakes were made. Pylai die. He's turning. He's going for the Fiend's Grip. Pasha is now freed. Albhead, I'm not quite certain if he's trying to farm Ancients or farm up Heroes. For now, Eternal Envy, Maledict on him once more. And you've got Ramsey just jumping in with that fresh BKB of his, going to work with the ultimate. Pylai dies being brought down by 3 other heroes at the same time. The Stone Gaze is triggered, but the Hand of God repairs almost all of the damage. The epicenter is there. Pasha can't close the distance onto Eternal Envy, and he will go down to the Exorcism eventually. Yes, he will fall. It looks like Arbed will join him as well, and this is gone from back.
I do. I want to get in there.